broadcasting from their secret space station.
Now witness the firepower of this fully armed and operational battle station.
Jamill Payne.
It's over, Anakin! I have the high ground!
Kyle Fulton.
Shut up! Shut your goddamn mouth!
DJ Jack Random.
Take him to Detroit. No! No, not Detroit!
Jack Random. Random. Savior of the universe.
Greetings, Earthlings, and welcome to the show. I am your host, the Macadocious DJ Jack Random. And joining me, as usual, is my persnickety podcast partner, Mr. Kyle Fulton. Yo, Kyle, what's up, man?
Hey, Jack, how's it going? Not much.
It's going.
The world is sad.
The world is broken, Mr. Fulton. The world is broken. And also joining us is the former platinum artist known as Young Spiffy. He brings balance to the show. He is our friend, Jamill Payne. What it do, Jamill?
Excelsior.
Excelsior.
I knew you were going to do it, and I knew it was going to make me sad, and I did nothing to stop it, and that makes it my fault.
You would have required the Infinity Gauntlet to make that not happen, Kyle. Unfortunately, we lost Stan the Man Lee. Therefore, I pulled my microphone out of the mothballs, and we are going to record a show because it would be irresponsible for us not to.
Yeah, be straight up wrong.
It would be straight up wrong.
Because will none of us be together if it wasn't
No,
for
I was
books.
going to say that. I was compiling. I really wish I really wanted to write something, and but I didn't. I got a lot of shit going on. So everything, I wanted to do some research, get some issue numbers and, quote some poignant dialogue and stuff, but I've had no time to do any of that. So I'm just going by my, admittedly fuzzy memories. But, I was going over a mental list in my head of the characters that he created or had been creating. And, the teams, and I thought, the Fantastic Four, the X-Men, the Avengers, and I thought, the Jack Random podcast show, this is the team. We would not have formed without Stan.
Definitely not. None of us would have. None of these comic communities, people, there's all this debate about whether or not he created characters, but to me that doesn't matter much at all, right? Because I've created characters with artists before, and afterwards we've argued about who came up with it, because that's just how things happen when you're doing a collaboration like that. It's really all there is to it. It just happens that way. But what he did create, and what no one can ever deny that he created, is comic book culture. Like, a lot of people contributed, a lot of people worked toward that. I'm not giving him sole credit or anything like that, but Gail Simone said it, I think it was Gail Simone said it the other day, that the reason that comic book communities are communities is because Stan Lee told us they could be communities, and Stan Lee fought for it to stop being kid stuff, and Stan Lee fought for it to be taken seriously, even though he himself began, sorry, Jamill.
No, I just gonna say, and you know what? That's his by himself, and he ain't gotta share that shit with nobody else. Nobody can take credit for that. Not Kirby, not Ditko, and I'm not knocking them. But, like, when you talk about this community he created the comic community, that's all him single-handedly by himself. He ain't got to share that with nobody.
He was... Fuck, guys, I don't know. I'm not any better than I was the other day when I posted that video. Honestly, I'm not any better. I can't.
I've got a lot on my plate right now. I'm dealing with some personal potential tragedies and shit, so I didn't think I had it in me to have any grief left or any emotions left for this, but I was wrong. I was going through a bunch of artist tributes, and some of them just like bam. Some of them just really hit hard, and then it occurred to me, there's a lot of these cats who have been making a lot of statements, shitting on Stan's legacy, and of course there are, because because people are trolls in general, and a lot of people making fun of the emotional response that Stan's death has had on so many people. But Stan's been a constant in my life, right next to my parents. Stan's been there. Stan, Marvel comics, the whole nine. It's my religion. That's my shit. I like, people can quote the Bible. I can quote Stan shit. And even through childhood, teenage years, and through my adulthood, even with the movies, it all came from Stan. And so yeah, this is a huge fucking loss. I mean, his work has been done. It's not like we're losing somebody who is going to continue to create amazing things. He did his work. He was enjoying the fruits of his labors. I mean, he saw his creations become what it's become the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's a force. He made his universe fucking real.
Yeah.
The Marvel Universe is a real thing now.
And a lot of that is to him in sheer force of will. Just
sheer force of will.
Y'all, I can't. The people who talk bad about him is like, look, I understand the contribution of Kirby, Ditko, Strinko, and all of them, right? But those words, those plot lines came from Stan. Like, if you read that, like I spent all last night at work reading like old Stan comic books, right? I mean, yeah, some of it's corny and outdated, and
a lot of it.
But you know what though? Stan, I heard that Stan wasn't a good writer. Stan was an excellent fucking writer. And I take umbrage with anybody that says different, because Stan was doing shit. No, you see, we take that shit for granted now. You know what I'm saying? But Stan was adding like layers and complication to characters when that shit wasn't done. Period. It just was not done back then. It wasn't done in the 60s. We don't get Watchmen unless Stan told people, hey, these comic book characters can be human.
Really?
Yeah.
And, well, a lot of people give Stan credit for humanizing. It's not so much that okay, I think I've said this before. Back in, let's say the Silver Age, when we had DC brought back Flash, Green Lantern, we had our Justice League. But those individual characters, even Aquaman, when you read a Superman comic, a Batman comic, it was the same dude. He just had different clothes. As far as his personality, they were all like 31 years old and, 31-year-old white guys. And they all talked the same. They had the same kind of corny little gag one-liners. And they weren't that different personality-wise. Stan fucked all that up.
Mm-hmm.
And I just read it recently, somebody else compared, like, when you started reading, like, Justice League, by the time Fantastic Four had come out, Justice League was a bunch of, like, 30-something white guys who just agreed with one another. And then you had the FF. And we've talked about Kirby's contributions to everything. Like, look, Kirby's a badass. Kirby did some amazing things. But I maintain without Stan Lee, we still wouldn't know who Kirby was. He'd be a footnote. I mean, he drew pretty pictures. He drew amazing dynamic pictures, but he needed somebody to put them fuckers together in a coherent story to make somebody want to look at it. And because let's keep it real, a lot of Kirby shit was just fucking weird.
Him and Ditko, like, look at some of that Ditko art. Like, it's great, but like some of that shit is. Look. Even the jokes, right? I was reading the first annual that him and Ditko did, right? And it's the first appearance of the Sinister Six, right? And Dr. Octopus, Kid Snap, Betty Brant, and Aunt May. And like, there's a lot of ways you can play this, right? Stan played it to where like Aunt May was completely smitten with Dr. Octopus. And it's fucking hilarious. She didn't even know she was kidnapped. and like, it's on purpose. Huh?
I remember those days.
And like, she didn't even know she was kidnapped. Like, she's like, oh, what a lovely man. And Betty Brant looking at her like she's crazy, right? So when Spider-Man comes in and rescues them, right? She hates Spider-Man, right? Say, what happened to that nice man? And like, you know, Spider-Man trying to explain to Betty Brant, and Aunt May has the best line in the whole book where she says, I'm afraid I don't understand any of this. And it's just, the comic timing, it was just like, it was good. It was sophisticated for its time. And like, I can't stress that enough. Yes, people surpassed Stan. But if it wasn't for Stan laying the groundwork for more sophistication, we wouldn't even got what we got. Like, comic books would have died. By 1969, comic books would have fucking died without Stan Lee.
But at the same time, it was a double-edged sword with Stan. And as much as you say he added sophistication, he added a lot of stupid. Not so much stupid, a lot of silliness, but it was part of Stan's style, the bombasticness of the comics, of what made the difference between Marvel and DC of the 60s. You know, why Stan's whole philosophy was like, why have characters talk when they can shout at one another? Why stand around when they can just pose? You know, just. And even in the old books, like How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way, with Stan and was it John Romita or John Buscema? John Buscema, I believe, if I'm pronouncing his name right, probably not. But the whole philosophy behind the Marvel style of drawing comics is exaggerate the fuck out of it.
But you see,
if a man is reaching for an apple, change the camera angle and make it look like he's reaching from across the room, and he's got to have that apple. But
the
you know whole Marvel style is like that.
I don't think that's a deterrent, though. I don't think that's like a criticism. I think that's what makes it good. Like that, yes, it's silly.
Again, I agreed.
It's silly, but like without that silliness, I don't know if we get what we got. Like it's hard to explain, but like that bit of silliness or that lot of silliness that Stan put in there still permeates to this day. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of that shit still goes on today. Maybe not as much, but like when someone want to do something edgy or bring out some nostalgia, they'll bust out some of that Stan bombasticness.
It always felt like he was having fun.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Even if the stories were super serious, it felt like he was having fun doing it.
He created the mythology of the Marvel bullpen, which actually didn't exist. But like, you know, you read the back of those comics, you read his soapbox, he made it exist. So like in your mind, right, all these dudes work in one building together, and like they're staying telling stories, and these people drawing, they throwing back ideas. No, it wasn't like that. But Stan even knew the importance of mythologizing real people himself. Ditko, Kirby, he even.
I think I was in college by the time I realized the bullpen was a fiction, just a fictional thing.
But that's
I grew up during the bullpen years, and I was reading Stan's soapbox, his updates every month, and of course it was, Marvel had an address. I figured everybody showed up to work.
But that's my point, though.
I had no idea of the concept of mailing your work in.
But that's my point, though. That shit was important. It may not be true. Me and Jet talked about this off air one time. Mythology of things are important. That's how they last. Without that mythology...
Without that shit, we wouldn't be on this satellite right now.
Exactly.
Yep. This shit just, it matters. It matters. A sense of fun, a sense of entertainment. Entirely aside from, look at, like, Mystery Science Theater 3000, okay? That is a legendary show with legendary comedy and legendary things. They could have just done 3 fucking guys making fun of a movie. They could have done that. whenever they wanted. It would have been a million times easier, but instead they put them on the satellite of love and added robots and all this other shit, and it was completely unnecessary, and that's what made it special. And it's the same thing with what Stan Lee was doing. That extra layer of, I'm just repeating you basically, but it's...
That's actually, that works. Oh!
It just matters.
Tangent. Because we don't do that on this show enough.
Never.
Mystery Science Theater, the original guys, they did basically what you just said, Kyle. They got rid of they did Riff Tracks, which is basically Mystery Science Theater without the settings of the Satellite of Love and the robots. And what I didn't know was, I've always wanted to check it out, just never have. I've recently gotten a retarded television service, DirecTV Now, and it's absolutely horrible, and I recommend it to absolutely no one. It's shitty. But I do have a channel that's just Riff Tracks.
Yeah, nice.
Wow, that's awesome.
That is cool. Pretty awesome. But if it doesn't work because it's DirecTV Now. Anyway,
can we talk about how people think Stan stole shit? I don't know. I guess stealing is the perfect word. I've heard comparisons to Bob Kane.
I'll put it like this. I'll say this, and that's what I'll say.
Yeah.
As far as, look, he wasn't one to shy away from credit. I'll say that, but he was. It's not so much he snatched credit. He was just the face of the company.
Yeah.
And when other creators would come and go, Stan would still be there. Other creators would leave, Stan would still be there with the characters. And these other creators would go off on these rants, shitting on Stan and the company, and Stan was the face of the fucking company. But, Stan, and as Stan got older, he tended to be a little less than accurate on some things. At one point, he said he co-created Captain America, and Nick was like, "Whoa, hey, Stan, easy."
I will say this. He didn't co-create Captain America, but the Captain America we know and love is Stan Lee.
Oh, no, that's Stan.
That's Stan Lee's Captain America.
That's Stan, no doubt. But he didn't. If somebody praised him for something, it wasn't like he was like, no, it's not me. Right on, yeah.
Well,
because he was that dude.
Well, also, is he supposed to talk nice about about motherfuckers that hated him?
Yeah.
And here's the thing, right? There's no actual evidence of him ever taking complete credit. Everything you've ever seen with Stan Lee always acknowledged Kirby and Ditko. Always. Like there's very few interviews where he doesn't mention them. But yet somehow he still get this reputation.
Well, it's like I said before when we were talking about this. We were talking about this exact thing on another episode, maybe a year ago, something like that, And
our last episode then.
It was a while ago, but we were talking about this before then. And you want to know how I know that the situation isn't the same as Bob Kane? Because I never heard of Bill Finger. I heard of Kirby. I heard of Ditko. I heard of all those other folks. I knew their names. I knew who they were. Even before I got really into comics, I knew who they were. I never fucking heard of Bill Finger. Not once in my entire life until college did I know that guy even existed. So clearly it ain't the same.
And
Jamill, you sent us a couple of comic panels a minute ago.
Yes, I did.
Yep.
And I think that, and it illustrates right there that Stan's always been very, well, maybe not very, but it's not like he's been hiding the collaboration or his role or the percentage he contributed. Can you describe those panels?
Yeah, it's in the Spider-Man annual. And,
which one?
the first annual Spider-Man annual, just the first ever Spider-Man.
Amazing Spider-Man annual, #1.
Yep. It's the premiere of December 6th, and in those panels, he jokes about how much work Ditko actually does compares to him, and even the line was like, Ditko calls his scripts corny, and Stan says, you know what, I only steal from the best. And that's Stan is writing that. Like, that's not Ditko. Stan is writing how much, you know what I'm saying? Like it also says, Ditko says, what do you mean we? I do all the work and you just put your name all over it. Stan wrote that. Cause Stan knew. Stan thought it was funny. There's a soapbox from back then where he just straight up said, Jack, you have that, right?
Hold on.
Yeah.
Looking for it now. I thought I had it. But, is that a cat?
Yes, it's my cat.
Who put a cat on my goddamn... Never mind.
We've been over this. I have to bring them sometimes.
Well,
better than leaving them down there. They'll hit the death ray and shit. It's not good. Shush, Margot. Sorry, guys. We've reached a point with these cats where if I leave them properly alone for any length of time, they start destroying things, and Elliot actually managed to open a duct-taped shut cabinet and break several bowls the other day, so I just got to leave the door open this time. I hate doing it, but I got to hear the kind of... These cats...
My pussy is asleep.
They're lovely.
Alrighty.
But
Keep
they're
it classy.
psychos.
Keep it classy.
Classy.
No,
It's 1966 Bullpen Bulletins. It says, and I quote, "Many of our Merry Marvel artists are also talented storymen in their own right. For example, all Stan has to do with pros like Jack the King Kirby, Dazzling Don Heck, and Darling Dick Ayers is give them the germ of an idea, and they make up all the details as they go along, drawing and plotting out the story. Then, our leader simply takes the finished drawings and adds all the dialogue and captions."
Stan wrote that.
Yep.
So Stan knew. So where does this perception comes from that somehow he's some type of thief? He's not a thief. He's
because
just
he worked for a company that wouldn't give nobody no money.
But again, Stan ain't the publisher. He's just the editor. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, he had a little pull there, but so did Kirby. Kirby was there from the beginning too. It's just if we're being serious, Stan's only crime was he was a better businessman and way more charismatic. Like for real, who the fuck you gonna interview? Ditko crazy Aaron Rand loving ass, or the guy, or the loud Jewish guy with the glasses saying Excelsior? Who are you gonna interview? Really?
The guy making up words.
Exactly.
As far as Stan's position and him seemingly being the face of comics, and that's pretty much what he was, the face of comics. And so I always put him in my head, he's like Jim Henson. He's like, he's a creator, that I guess that goes without saying. Gene Roddenberry. He's or even in some cases even more of a P.T. Barnum or a Vince McMahon or a Dana White. He was just so good at what he did. When you think of that medium, that's the man you think of.
I mean, he's a carnival barker, right? That's what he is. He's a carnival barker.
Yeah.
What John Romita said, like he's a come man, but he's a come man that delivered, because he got all the trappings of a come man, but delivered on everything he ever promised. You know what I'm saying?
Or gave it a damn good try. His bombastic style was perfect to convey comics as a medium to people who normally. I mean, hell, look where it is. Look where it is. I mean, the
Bill
number
Maher,
one movie in America for the past 10 years has been something that came out of Stan's head in one shape or one form or another.
I mean, Bill Maher doesn't think so, but it's okay.
Well, Bill Maher's a kind of a prick.
You think? No, I'm not even gonna. I'm not.
I just don't. But you know what? On the one hand, okay, for those who don't know, Bill Maher wrote an editorial where he just pretty much shit on Stan, shit on his legacy, shit on his band. He said something along the lines of, only in a nation where comic books are revered like this is a place where Trump can get elected, something along those lines. And for him to, put anything that has anything to do with Trump at Stan's feet, he should be drawn and quartered.
Yeah. Like any tiny shred of respect I ever had for the man is dead now. That was...
No, he'd walked off the reservation as far as I'm concerned years ago. I remember Ice Cube called him a racist to his face, and he just denied it. It was kind of bizarre to watch because it was something I'd been feeling for a while. Is Bill Maher has a very, very specific view of how black people should look, act, and behave. And when you break those parameters, suddenly you're no longer a real black guy. So, we've sat through years of him telling Obama jokes. If Obama was a real black man, he'd do this, blah, 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 blah. And that's racist.
Yes, it is. I've never paid enough attention to the guy to have any idea of any of this shit.
Well, I like Bill Maher. Sometimes he's a bit much to take. For one, I don't think Bill Maher is nowhere near as funny as he think he is. That's for goddamn sure.
No.
But it's just I can't believe he said that, since the only thing Stan ever preached was tolerance. So I don't see now if he would say celebrity culture, I would agree, because if anything, in the country that works with the Kardashians, it's definitely a country that will elect Trump, which we did. You know what I'm saying? But
we elected a reality TV star, not a comic book writer.
Giant man children usually don't. No, that's not true. Fucking comment escape. Never mind. Maybe he's right. Shit. No, you know what? Just throw everything I was just about to say all out the window. Never fucking mind. God damn it.
Yeah. No, but the one thing that annoys me, especially in today's politically charged, everybody's angry at one another society. No one listens, and when someone tries to check you on your behavior, instead of saying, you know what, let me listen, and maybe this person has a point, maybe there's something I'm doing that I don't realize I'm doing, instead of just plugging your ears and going la 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 la. And so Ice Cube was on Bill Maher's show, and Bill was making jokes about, well, I guess what he making jokes about these dumb Southern rednecks and this, that, and the other. And Cube said, well, you know what, Bill? A lot of times you sound like them. He said, well, what are you talking about? He said, well, you talk about black people. So a lot of times you sound like them. And all Bill said, no, I don't. No, Bill, I'm sitting here. This is Ice Cube. I'm sitting in your face. I'm sitting right next to you. Say, yes, you do. Nope, no, I don't.
Is this after he called himself a house nigga?
This is about 2 years ago, maybe last. I don't know.
Yeah, that might have been after, he called himself Bill called himself a house nigga on his show.
Yeah, see, there's no context where that's funny. I'm not even going to ask you why he called himself that, because there's no acceptable context. Not from him.
Well, look, this is the thing, right? That joke could work if it was funny.
I said from him, man. I can't think of a context where he could say that in his not in his wheelhouse of material.
Cause you know me, I'm pretty open minded. If it's funny, it's funny, right? Cause I don't mind.
You know what? There's only two things the comedian Wayne Brady has ever done that made me really just kind of respect him. One was the Chappelle sketch. Brilliant. Absolutely fucking brilliant. Two was threatening Bill Maher. That was the greatest shit ever. He said, I will whoop your punk ass. He told him straight.
Bill Maher never talked about that man again.
He never said Wayne Brady's name ever again.
Not that I can remember.
Because, again, Bill Maher has a very specific idea of how black people are supposed to behave, and when you exceed those parameters, suddenly you're the punchline in one of his jokes about what a real black man's supposed to be. Fuck Bill Maher. But yeah, stands up there with Roddenberry, Jim Henson.
Well, Stan's true talent is not even writing. It's editorial and an eye for talent. He brought all those dudes in. He knew how good they were, and he had... Look, the best story I could tell about Stan and how good he was at editorial is like why Ditko left, right? They introduced the Green Goblin, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Stan like it has to be somebody we know. You know, and Ditko's like, no, it just should be a random person, because that's how real life is, blah, blah, blah. And Stan like, nah, it gotta be somebody we know. And that's why it's Norman Osborn instead of just some random dude. Because Stan was like, we can't build this up, did not have it be somebody.
He pulled the mask off and he who is he? I don't know.
And that's what, yeah, exactly. Tony from Brooklyn. Tony from Brooklyn was the Green Goblin the whole time.
They did that in the first Burton Batman movie? Bats gets shot up at the beginning, and he gets kind of like knocked out, and the bad guys run up on him, and he snatches his mask off. Let's see who he is. And they're like, well, who is he? He's a guy. He's some dude. Get his wallet. And that's when he wakes up and beats them all up.
But yeah, so like that's the power of Stan, right? He was a great editor, you know. He
and in retrospect, that's a brilliant move.
Like you know, apparently like Jack Kirby just thought of the Silver Surfer by himself, and instead of Stan saying no, this ain't what we talked about. He was like, yeah, that works. I'll roll with that. That looks cool. We're gonna roll with that, Jack. All right, like it's fine.
And I guess you know what? No one really appreciates. That's probably one of Stan's true talents, is reining in these crazy diverse personalities who would listen to his suggestion for a plot, draw something completely different. He get those pages back and say, you know what? I'll write around this shit. Yep. If you can take Jack Kirby's tall purple man with the skirt and antler head helmet and make him a cosmic threat, a believable cosmic threat, just through your words because he looks silly as shit. Hey, man, that's talent.
Well, the skirt, don't forget, he had that skirt on looking sexy. No.
And the Watcher, too. They went to the same, similar tailors. But Kirby just had that distinct, crazy-ass style. Everybody looked like space Romans.
Because they were, Jack. Have you not seen the new gods?
Space Pantheon. I was going to say the Space Pantheon of Olympic gods.
And like maybe one of his biggest contributions is Captain America. Like, yeah, he didn't create Captain America, but
everything we know about the Cap we know, that's Stan's Cap.
Yeah, the soldier out of time and all that. That came from the brain of Stan.
That's the best thing, and that's the shit that makes Captain America is. Ever since the movies, and I still haven't read enough of the comics because, when I was reading Cap, he was a werewolf. So I kind of bailed on that shit and never really went back. But
those 4 issues that will affect that damn character.
Well, it's never gonna look. I read 3 comic books.
Three issues.
When I was that age, I read 3 comic books, all right? And it was Captain America, Spider-Man, and Batman. And when Captain America became a werewolf, it became 2 comics. Well, that's all I know.
What's funny about that is, I mean, I know that was like, because you were only reading those 3 comics when you were a kid.
Yeah.
But you could ask anybody, all anybody ever remembers from Captain America before the damn movies is the werewolf shit.
Look, Kyle, I have something similar. When I tried to read comics when I was a kid, one of the first comics I ever read was like Wolverine, where he had like a bandana and no nose. I'm like, I can't read this shit. And I just do.
Yes, this is after Magneto snatched his adamantium.
Yeah. And he was going more feral. I know that now, but at the time when you're like, yeah, but when you're a little kid and you read that, you just like, no, I'm no.
And that's when they really started really teasing the Wolverine Immortal theory, because that's when they came out with a special thing called the Xavier Files, and it was basically Batman shit. His plan to take down the League. It was Xavier's plan to take down the X-Men. And in the footnotes for Wolverine, it said in his new feral state, the only way to stop Wolverine would be to decapitate him.
Also, this is what I learned. The thing about Stan stealing credit has always been sort of kind of a thing for years, right? But I was listening to another podcast, The Comic Conspiracy. Guy runs a comic book store, and he was like, that shit really picked up steam in the 90s because the Image guys was like really championing like the artists and like artists. And like that's funny because all of them are some shitty ass storytellers. So I'm just saying, like apparently that's when it really picked up steam. So this guy says, but like it makes sense if you think about it, right?
Yeah, it sure does.
So
It
yeah,
really clicks.
you know, so like at the time they was what 19, 20 years old, if that. So like you know how annoying 19, 20-year-olds are. They full of piss and vinegar and want to change the world. So apparently they were just shitting on writers.
Know every goddamn thing.
And apparently they were just shitting on writers. They was making all this money, and that's when like the Stan thing really picked up like kind of speed.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
It does.
I just don't understand how anybody can look at everything that there is in the world of comics and not trace everything that comics are back to Stan fucking Lee. I just don't see how it's possible to look at it objectively and see that it may all still exist without him, but nothing would be what it was. I don't think there would be a Marvel movie universe without Stan Lee. That motherfucker conquered the goddamn world. The only thing about this that has made me truly, truly sad, because his creating days were done. I love the guy. I loved seeing him in the movies. I loved him all the time, you know. I loved all that, but, like, he was 95. I prepared myself for this. I was ready to an extent. The only thing that's got me fucked up about it is that he didn't live to see the end of his... He didn't live to see Avengers 4. He didn't live to see the finale of this thing that he built, and that breaks my goddamn heart.
Well, he was 95. I'm not convinced he even stayed awake for the last 3.
No, you're not wrong, but you know what I mean. Like,
I know.
6 more months, man. 6 more months and he would have made it. It could have been a Charles M. Schultz thing. He could have seen it and then died in his sleep that night. Nice. And it would have just...
Like, so, like, who's going to, like, tear up when Avenger 4 starts and it says, in memory of Stan Lee?
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's going to say that at the end. But yeah.
They're going to say at the end, the beginning, it's going to pop up in the middle of the movie for no reason.
They'll, like, interrupt it partway through for a brief conversation about the meaning of Stan.
No, that cameo. Yeah, when that cameo comes, I'm expecting clapping and standing ovations.
Yeah, it might pull people out of the movie, so they better be very careful.
Oh, yeah.
How they do.
Feige said... Dang it, how the fuck do you pronounce his name? I've been trying to figure it out for 10 goddamn years.
Feige.
Okay, remember it.
So funny.
Feige said that they are being extremely... He said that they are taking great care to think about how to deal with this legacy and what they should do. So, that's good.
It occurred to me, I was thinking of how to sign off on the podcast, and I was thinking, a Stanism, a face front true believers, I've been hearing his voice since I was 3 years old. I had a record. It was a 45 RPM storybook record, and it was Stan Lee narrating a Spider-Man comic book. And it was full of face forward true believers, Excelsior, and all kinds of nonsense. And then on the flip side of the record was the Spider-Man theme music from the original cartoon. So that was like one of my first possessions is that damn record. I've been hearing Stan's voice since I was a small child. That's the voice of the man who brought me all this amazing fun shit. He will be missed.
Excelsior! Oh. Someday I'll find out what that means.
I was listening to one of my local radio DJs. They were doing a quick tribute to Stan, and he shot it over to his co-anchor or co-host, who said, he was unaware that Stan had died. So what were you doing? He said he was sitting at home in the dark with the TV on with the lights out because his character on Red Dead Redemption was in his tent in the rain, and he wanted to just feel the ambiance. So he spent the evening alone in the dark with his character in the rain in the tent.
I don't know what you.
People have lost their fucking minds.
I don't know what you want us to say, because I'm pretty sure I've done it at least a couple of times.
Yeah.
I had company last night. A cousin come in from out of town. He, gathered up a couple of local cousins and came by, and we were sitting up and watching a little NXT and having some drinks and talking shit. And Red Dead came up, and we've all acknowledged that people have lost their mind. Like I said earlier, I'm usually right up on the bubble on this, whatever the hot new game is. But I'm out of the loop on this. I'm not playing it, but I understand. So it's funny. So this is the first time I'm on the outside looking in, and I'm watching everybody around me slowly lose their shit. Because it's not just one or two guys. It's every fucking body. Everybody thinks they're a cowboy.
Hey, you know what? Be careful. You sound like a damn O'Driscoll. We don't like O'Driscolls around here.
and you know what? And what's funny about that is I keep hearing that reference.
I'm sure you do.
From everywhere. I mean, I hear it at work. I hear it on the street. It's just popping up in different weird shit.
Goddamn O'Driscoll boys.
Jack, this video game is one of the all-time great westerns, and it is so goddamn good that it borders on matching up with, literature. Like, people could study this fucking game's story in schools. It's good.
You guys,
it is some
you guys are living a Louis L'Amour novel. Or series of novels.
It's next level shit. It is so.
So when I
that's
see
entirely
you,
aside from the fact that you can dress up as Woody.
Is that a reference from me? Is that a reference?
It is a direct reference to you and what you have done, Jamill.
Well, I told you, I told you that was the come home to Jesus moment, right? Because after spending 2 real days hunting for that animal and getting that outfit, then buying a bunch of other outfits and doing a photo shoot, at that point I realized maybe I need to finish this game, because this has reached absurd levels at this point.
So when I see you, Kyle, you're gonna have your Sam Neill. No, not Sam Neill. What's dude's name with the mustache?
Sam Elliott.
Sam Elliott mustache.
Yeah. Yep.
You tip your hat at ladies as you walk past.
Yeah, pretty definitely. I'm playing in a D&D game right now, right? And I do character voices because, of course, I fucking do. You know me. And I've been trying so hard. Unfortunately, I played Red Dead so much that I keep dipping into a fucking Arthur impersonation and, hitting a southern accent. It's completely unintentional. My character is supposed to, I kind of go down and do, a bug in the Edgar suit kind of thing, and it keeps just kind of turning into this, and I can't help it. It just keeps happening. It's a serious fucking problem.
Look, I was talking to my nephew about this. One of the best things about Red Dead is they take all those known cowboy voices, but do realistic versions of them. Arthur sounds like a cowboy, right? The howdy partner, but it's a realistic version of that type of cowboy.
Yes.
There's a character called Uncle, and clearly he's supposed to be a prospector type person. But it's a realistic version of that prospector type person. So, it's kind of like that, but it's a lot less. There's gold in those mines.
Yeah, it's clearly the same. It's the cowboy tropes, but they just dialed them back just enough that it feels fucking real. It is so goddamn good. It's so good. And Red Dead Redemption is one of my all-time favorite games. I've been waiting a fucking decade for this goddamn sequel. I seriously have. And this is probably only the second game I can name that I waited this long for that actually lived up. Fuck, it exceeded my expectations. This game is a goddamn masterpiece.
You know what's really, really funny is how many units does this game move, Kyle? What kind of numbers are we talking about?
17 million. It has sold more in 2 weeks than the original Red Dead sold in 8 years.
Yeah.
Okay, that's astronomical.
Mm-hmm.
I recently discovered, I thought, as most of you listeners know, your saviors of the universe thought they lost their complete archive of old shows when the Supernauts imploded. But through the magic of what you kids call the cloud, turns out I have a significant amount of those episodes. So I was actually listening to some old eps at work today. Do you know that we were half convinced that consoles were done 2 years ago? I've been listening to old shows, and it came up a few times, like, yeah, things are moving in the mobile direction. It was when you had your fatwa against Konami, Kyle.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, Konami will drive me crazy. So
Yeah, well, Konami's actions, getting into the slot machine industry and going, focusing on mobile had us thinking, everybody was going in that direction. And to be honest, there was a lot of money being thrown at mobile at the time. This was 2 years ago. Things have flipped.
I should say so. Yeah. Well, this is not, I mean, I don't think this is typical. I don't think we're going to see this happen often. I'm pretty sure this is just Red Dead 2 numbers. I think at least with the PlayStation anyway, well, I want to say consoles in general, but at least with the PlayStation, I think we were trending towards these kinds of Red Dead numbers. I mean, God of War. God of War did really well, yeah.
Yeah, and then Spider-Man came.
Right.
Yeah, I think we were trending in this direction.
I think you might be right. At the time, like when I thought of it, up until just this minute, I didn't think about those in terms of a pattern. I was just like, well, this fucking awesome game came out, and then this fucking awesome game came out. I didn't really put it together.
God of War, it could be considered kind of niches, and so should Spider-Man. Superheroes, that is, even though superheroes are super popular now, it's still niche, kind of. But then you come out with something like Red Dead. Who doesn't know about cowboys?
Yeah, who doesn't love a fucking Western?
Especially in the world where, like, Fortnite has taken over, a game 17 million copies in, like, 2.5, 3 weeks. Almost unheard of.
That's significant. Because
a game that has no multiplayer element yet.
Right. That's another thing.
You don't
need
it.
It's coming soonish, but
you don't
not
need
yet.
it. I've spent 80 hours in this game, and it's mostly been hunting and fishing.
Oh, yeah, no, we don't. By the way, Jamill, do you want to join our gang when it comes out?
I mean, I have my own game with my nephew. Right now, we're arguing about it. I think, personally, it should be called the Pain Game.
I've heard so many variations of this conversation just in my
I mean, look. There's no rule to say I can't join 2 games. It's just right now, I'm arguing with my nephew. Huh?
Until they make it a rule.
But because right now, I kind of want my own gang, and it's called the Pain Gang, which is great.
Well, that's fine. That's fine. But just, with GTA Online, me, Steve, and a couple of my other friends always were in a gang. And then the two of our 4 either didn't get Red Dead or sold their PS4. So, like, right now we're a twosome when this thing comes out, and that ain't enough.
I mean, again, like I said, I'll be more than happy to join you. Like I said, I'll be a Rootin' Tootin' Cowboy shooting member if you need me to.
The last night, I shit you not, I'm sitting there in Steve's fucking apartment, right? And I came over there to hang out or whatever, you know what I mean? And he was playing the game a little bit, and he paused it on the fucking map. And I'm sitting there, and we're sitting there like pointing out things on the map. We're already planning fucking train robberies. We're already planning heists. Like I am so ready for this.
I'm robbing so many stage coaches.
I can't wait. I don't like online games. I'm so excited for this online game. I can't wait.
Then here's the thing, right? It's gonna be chaos. But I feel like if you get like a 7 to 8 man posse, ain't nobody fucking with you. Ain't nobody's coming in the midst with you, right?
That's what I'm hoping. Yep. I think we can pull it off with 2. You have no idea. Steve's a maniac in these games. Steve is a fucking maniac. It's like teaming up with the fucking Joker. He does the crazy batshit nuts.
How much dynamite does he use?
Oh, so very much. These are the same people who play in the D&D campaign that I run, and there is now a very strict no explosives rule. And that is how Steve operates across all games.
So
scorched earth policy.
So Jay, you got any questions about Red Dead Redemption?
Other than
No.
where can I get it? And
No. I don't have that kind of time, gentlemen. It's that simple. It's just that
Now,
simple.
look, we
I do enjoy listening to you guys talk about it.
Can I levy some criticisms at it? Like, cause that's me.
Absolutely.
oh yeah, it's not flawless. Go for it, Jamil.
Man, look, Rockstar, they need to get out their own ass, cause like those controls are a fucking mess in a lot of ways. Like, most games you reload with square. Why is it circle? Like there's so many things that Rockstar do just because it's the Rockstar way, not because, games haven't like evolved in like, the last 10 years. Okay, so like I said, you know how now Kyle know this, but Jack, you know how I was like showing you pictures of my outfits and stuff, right?
Yes.
So like in most games they have a photo mode, and what you do is you press L and R at the same time, and the game will just pause, right? And whatever you was doing, it'll pause right there, and you can take a photo. This has been a thing in games for the last 2 or 3 years. That's how I was getting all those cool poses of me swinging in Spider-Man. Is just I'll pause the game right at the moment I will want, right?
Mm-hmm.
Red Dead decided to make it like an in-game thing where you actually have to have like a camera that you gotta set up, like the old school, and you have to like take a pose. Like why? Why do that? Why do that? That's just like just give me like, because like with most photos modes you can change it. Like you can have like different filters. You can do all this stuff in it to make it even look even cooler. You can't do that in this game because they decided to make it like an in-game thing where you got.
What's so weird is where they draw the line on that. Because on the one hand, that's really cool that you have to do that way, right? And I'm like, okay, well that's neat. I like that it's super real and the photos are color. So that's where they draw the line. They're like, it has to be realistic, so you have to set up the camera yourself and you have to go pose and you have to like
Flash
hit the
powder.
thing. But they're in color. Why is that the line?
And this is my thing, right? They give you poses, but this is a rootin' tootin' cowboy game. You can't have no poses with your guns.
I didn't know
Really?
that.
No, you can't.
That's a cowboy trope. That's a staple. You got to pose with your 6 shooters,
But and like
and maybe you and your posse with a corpse between you.
oh yeah, like
That's an old school picture.
Look, I almost died because like look, when you get to Saint Denis, right? There's this white guy talking about eugenics and how the white race is superior.
Yeah, you saw my video.
Yeah, I saw Kyle's video.
So look, I tied.
I shot the shit out of dude.
Oh no, I tackled dude, tied him up, and took him to the train tracks.
You snidely whiplashed him.
Oh yeah, but then I went to take a picture, right? So I had to set the goddamn camera, and I posed for it, right? In the gangster pose, the pose where you can crouch, like the prison pose. So I crouched next to his body on the train, right? Maybe like 15 seconds as I took that picture, the train was coming, so I had to hurry up and like get up, like exit out and move out the way before the train came and hit and killed me.
Do you know what kind of sadistic asshole you'd have to be back in the cowboy days to tie some motherfucker to the train tracks, go get a camera, a tripod, some flash powder, set it up in front of him. He's like, come on, man, let me up. And you're like, hold on.
And I think that's part of why they did it that way, because let's face it, that's fucking awesome. The situation you just described, Jamill, is fucking awesome. But it's also wildly inconvenient because you wanted that damn photo with him.
Oh, man.
Hey,
you guys make... I'm not going to bring up the game thing right now at all.
I just but there's a lot of things in the game. It's just like the amount of people I accidentally shot because the controls are so weird.
Yes,
and Kyle, you play a lot of open world games, right? Most open world games, and this is something Rockstar should adopt, but they haven't. Is when you use the GPS system. Most open world games now actually put the GPS system on the road, so you can actually look at the world and not look at the fucking small map. So you actually look at the world but still know where you're going. Rockstar just refused to do that shit.
Yeah.
You have to look at that map, and the amount of trees I don't fucking ran into by accident a rock solid tripped over? Because I'm looking at the map.
I smashed my horse full force into a boulder and killed it that way, and had to reload because I wasn't giving up my horse due to a head-on collision caused by looking at my old-timey cell phone.
About 10 years ago, on the PS3, one of my favorite games in the world was released, but it didn't sell very well. It was Bulletstorm. Bulletstorm was an amazing, really, really fun first-person shooter. It was critically acclaimed. The graphics were on point. The gameplay was excellent, and should have sold a bajillion copies. It sold 3. I mean, they got 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10. It's just a high-rated game. The problem was it came out at a time where a bunch of hot shit came out. A bunch of hot franchises. I think Call of Duty Black Ops 2 had dropped about the same time. Titanfall, just big games had come out. Another GTA. So it got slept on. Well, they just came out with a remaster for the PS4. It's a free download, so I picked it up. I didn't intend to play it as much as I've been playing it anyway, because like I said, I really, really enjoyed the game. So this is the game with all the DLC and, in fact, some new levels that they didn't have back in the PS3 days. And also you have special DLC where you can play as the main character. You can change the main character to Duke Nukem. And so, fuck it. So since I played this game a zillion times, I figured I'd play through as Duke. Actually, Jamill kind of made me feel like he talked about me until I bought Duke. So then I bought Duke. And what they did was they literally put Duke into the story that Duke's not in. So, they changed no other dialogue except the main characters. So everybody's still calling me as Duke. They're calling me the previous character's name, Gray. He keeps saying, "My name's Duke." And, it's stupid as shit because it's the same exact game with the same exact dialogue, except now Duke chimes in and, they do a flashback because, it's a story, so they do a flashback so we see how your characters got here. And then Duke is like, "I don't even know you people. Why am I in this flashback?" It's fucking hilarious, man.
They made Duke Nukem into Deadpool.
They made Duke Nukem into Deadpool. Because in some of the scenes, he accepts he's there and he's doing what he's doing with these guys who he doesn't know, but he's there with the gun, so he's happy. But there's just some parts where he's like, "Why do you guys keep calling me Gray? I've said about 100 times my name is Duke." And no one reacts to it. Because, of course, that's not the dialogue they're hearing. They're hearing the original script.
Look, I've played Bulletstorm. And no, I'm about to go back to Red Dead because this reminds me. Bulletstorm is a very fast game, right?
Yeah, it's fast.
Red Dead, I'm sorry to go back to it, is a slow-ass game. Kyle, am I wrong?
Oh, no. Very, very slow.
Red Dead does not respect your time.
No, not even a little bit.
Look, Jack, you play a game where you loot somebody and you don't actually do anything, it just says you looted them. No, not in Red Dead. You actually got to pick the body up, turn them over, search their pockets, then you loot them. And
I've told you guys before, that's as much fun as you guys make it sound.
It's
that's
great.
That's always been my problem with open world games.
It is obnoxiously slow,
but
somehow it's not, and it's super awesome.
But that's the thing, Jack. No game does that. Just this game. They want it to be so. Look, Jack, your walkie speed.
Look, I told you I have a problem with getting a mission, having to find a car and travel to the mission. I want to be blinked there. Blink me to the mission.
The game does not do that.
I know.
But
open world games. I don't want to travel. I don't want to do other stuff.
Not only does it not do that, it's like the fast travel is intentionally terrible. So it makes you ride your horse everywhere because the fast travel is intentionally terrible. You just can't fast travel anywhere. And like the walkie speed, if you press up on the stick, his walkie speed pressed up on the stick is mosey. That's what he does is mosey every fucking where. And that's all the way up on the left analog stick. He just Moses. That's what he does. You got to tap X to make him run. No other game does that. And it was frustrating the first few hours. You actually have to take this game on its own terms.
Yeah.
And that's why my next purchase is going to be Soul Calibur.
It should be Spider-Man, motherfucker, but whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
I don't have that kind of time, man. That's what makes
it. In a way, that's what makes it what it is, though. Like, I agree with all of the complaints that everybody has about this game, but you don't see anybody not buying it, do you? Except for Jack. And like in a really real way, that's what makes it what it is. The reason it works here is because no one else does this. This is what makes it special, and it's just like the entire every time something like that happens, every time it takes like longer for me to do something, or it makes me like, or there's a bunch of missions where I gotta do ordinary ranching shit, like at the end of the first one, and because the first one's faster than this, but not that much. Like every time I gotta do like these long drawn out bits like that and stuff like that, half the time I'm just like, are we really doing this? But like there's a huge grin on my face because I'm like, I can't believe it.
So Kyle,
I am actually gonna search every goddamn body individually with my hands. This is insane, and it's awesome.
So Kyle,
but it's
go ahead.
No. It's awesome. It's obnoxious, but it's awesome, and I am at war.
So
I just love it. Continue.
Let me ask you this, Kyle. Now that we know like almost the entire map of the original Red Dead is also in this game, do you think they'd be crazy enough to make a remake? Not like a remaster, but like
a full-blown remake
of Red Dead, because like the map is there. They've updated it, and like it basically plays. Look, I haven't finished the game, but I know it basically ends almost where the first game begins.
More or less, yeah. I won't say any further details, but I have been down there. I have gone down into New Austin and ridden around a bunch, and it really is a perfectly updated into modern graphics, exact replica of the first game's locations. They did everything, every fucking detail. So I think that, yes, about 50% of the work is already done with them having done that map. The rest of it's just motion capture and missions. So, like, yeah, I think they would create
that's another thing, Jack. This map is large, right? And there's a whole section of this map you don't get to see for the whole fucking game until you beat it. Like there's a section they just like, no, you don't get to go to this part of the map at all. Period. Point blank. You try to go there, they gun you down. They will gun you down. So I'm gonna ask you guys something. Just bring this up on you. This has had me watching a bunch of cowboy movies. Anybody got a favorite cowboy movie?
I really like 310 to Yuma.
310 to Yuma, Outlaw Josie Wells. Okay. Those are terrible choices. No, I'm just playing, dude.
High Plains Drifter.
No. I think mine is like El Dorado with John Wayne. No, but look, this got me thinking. I love Western movies.
Support your local sheriff.
Yeah. I think Young Guns 2 might be my favorite Western.
Blazing Saddles.
That is a weird fucking choice, but I think Young Guns 2.
That's pretty good.
Of all,
that's a good modern Western with modern sensibilities. It's fast paced.
This is the thing, right? There's better Westerns out there, but like I just watched Young Guns 1 and Young Guns 2. I think fucking Young Guns 2 is damn near a masterpiece in a lot of ways.
All right. Note to self: watch Young Guns 2 again.
Because like if you watch the first Young Guns, right, that's very much of its time. Like, you know, you got all these hot young stars, and it's like the 80s, and they're like 26. You know, they all like up and coming, and got this like weird rock and roll soundtrack. Young Guns 2 does away with all that shit. They got like a bigger budget, and they made like an actual Western.
Right.
And it's by far Emilio Estevez's best role.
Hey, let's don't want to cut you off on Red Dead.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
We really need to wrap the show, but I didn't know if you wanted to express your opinion of the Titans live action show before we called it a night. And for Kyle Fulton and for Jamill Payne.
No, look, guys, okay. Okay, I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start with the good. Okay.
Okay.
This is a very comic booky ass show, right? All the costumes look fan-fucking-tastic. Just goes to show you all that shit. Like, no, they have to wear black leather, because who would believe these dumb costumes? All this bullshit. Hawk and Dove look great. Robin look great. Like, all the superheroes in this show look great. It's very comic booky. It's very deep lore. With that being said, I don't recognize none of these fucking characters. Like, none of them act like the characters that I know at all. And it's like, it's so try hard edgy. That like it's.
I got that from the trailers and previews. Everybody was too hard.
Fuck Batman.
Fuck Batman.
Yo,
everybody was just too hard.
Look, y'all. Robin stabs some dude in the dick with some shears.
Jason the
Dick.
Well.
Dick Grayson. Look, that first episode where he says "fuck Batman." What you don't see is he take the gangster try to drive away. He breaks the glass. Then he take the gangster face and just slides it across the glass.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know. They got Starfire dressed like a prostitute and not acting like Starfire. Like, it's just.
There's a lot of people praising the show.
Look, this is the thing. I'm not for sure if the show is bad.
But it's just not for you.
It's definitely not the Titans. Like, if this was called something else, maybe I would like it more. Like,
my thing, it's this tonal whiplash. Like, this Titans live action is probably like, it's Daredevil dark and gritty, right?
No, that's the thing though. It's not as good as I'm
not saying good as. I'm not saying quality wise. I'm trying, tone wise. They're trying to make it gritty and edgy. Okay, fine. You can do gritty and edgy all you want, but why pick a property that's the most popular little kids cartoon out right now?
And like, you can make it adult without having everybody say fuck every 5 seconds.
That's why I keep thinking is it really adult or is it just loud? You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying.
Is it mature or is it just wrong?
No, that's the point, right? Like, it tries to outdo Daredevil, right? But
Daredevil's legit mature.
Yeah, and it's good, and it doesn't have to say fuck.
Okay, all right. This is 90s Extreme Titans. This is a youngster's idea of what mature should be.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm feeling you. I'm just, if it's good, it's good. Now, I'll probably at some point sit down and watch it.
Oh, I know I
will.
But
I'm just not
yet.
Not really interested in another dark and gritty DC anything.
I mean, but that's the thing, right? It's even more dark and gritty than Zack Snyder, and they're saying something, and it's just like, I don't know why you do it with these characters. Like, you could have had something mature without going like this.
I'll say this. You sent us a clip of Hawk and Dove being introduced.
Right.
And then you were making your point that it was, trying to be edgy for no reason. Over the top even. And I had to tell you that I liked that scene. And the only reason I really liked that scene was because that was Hank Hall. That was the Hank Hall from the Hawk and Dove comic, the original limited series back when Liefeld was drawing it. Then it became ongoing, and then they fucked it all with the introduction of Monarch in Armageddon 2001. But before that was Hank Hall. That was the Hawk and Dove I knew. Hank Hall was like, he was just a superpowered jock, a superpowered dumb jock. And that's what I saw in that scene. And he talked like Hank, if Hank was allowed to curse in comics, that's what he'd sound like. He was a big dumb jock, which is why him becoming the cosmic villain Monarch was just what? What?
Hawk and Dove created by Steve Ditko.
Hawk and Dove created by Steve Ditko. Hawk being revealed as the ultimate villain was like finding out Guy Gardner was really the Anti-Monitor.
So what, believable or not?
Or Guy Gardner was actually Darkseid. Just somebody with just because Monarch was this super cosmic technological time traveling.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
And Hank Hall was a superpower, was the thing. You know what I mean?
I just I've been watching this, and this is the thing. I'm gonna finish watching it. I watch it every week. But compare this to Daredevil, that what we just had, it's not even close, y'all.
Oh, well, dude, nothing is. Daredevil is the best show that's ever been on television, and season 3 was probably the best season of the show. Oh my fucking god, I love Daredevil. Okay, we shouldn't.
Several levels of ass.
We shouldn't do this.
Okay. Daredevil season 3 next episode. We're gonna wrap this now, and I want to say one thing.
Yeah, we're gonna really. Yes, there is. We're gonna really record again. Now that we got going, we're not gonna not go. Let's do this.
Okay, but look,
let's do this shit.
Before we sign off, I want to give a huge shout out to Jose Tito Torres because he sent me a pop figure that I thought was just a joke. I didn't realize they'd actually produced the figure. It's because it's a running gag. It's a meme. It's dead Yamcha from Dragon Ball Z. It's Yamcha dead. And they actually made a pop figure. And Jose bought it and sent it to me. It's a dead guy. I didn't think it was a real figure. It's real.
I had the chance to get that, and I passed on it. I had the chance to get that one.
But it comes from another joke. I don't know if you guys were aware. In one of the groups, Jose had posted, because, he posts anything anti-Dragon Ball Z to piss me and a couple other guys off. Because he hates Dragon Ball. So, it was a picture of Yamcha getting either beat up by a Cyberman or a fish face person, some minor villain who beat Yamcha up. And he's like, ha ha, Jack, look, Goku getting his ass whooped. And then everybody kind of laughed, and I laughed, and I just kept it moving. And somebody eventually posted, "Hey, yo, man, that's Yamcha, dog. That ain't Goku." so that's really prompted.
To be fair, I can see if you never watched Dragon Ball Z.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And then that's what Jose's thing was. I don't know these banana head motherfuckers. They all look the same.
That's almost racist, but it's not.
So yeah, he sent me the dead Yamcha. He said, "See, look, Jack, a dead Goku." Ha 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 ha. Motherfucker, that's Yamcha. But yeah, that shit exists, and that's fucking hilarious. So thanks again, Jose. So look, next week we're going to talk Daredevil. I saw Solo. I have some thoughts on the Han Solo prequel movie.
All right.
And we can talk about that next week as well.
And also, speaking of Dragon Ball, can we talk about next week? Can we talk about Dragon Ball Z Abridged just a bit?
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right. Was there a specific app?
No, just they finished out the Cell Saga a few weeks ago, I think.
They did, and they finished it off, I think, better than the original did. But we'll go
that's what I want to talk about.
We'll go into it next week. So, for Kyle Fulton and for Jamill Payne, I am the Macadocious DJ Jack Random. It's good to be back, and we will holler. Face front, true believers. Excelsior.
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 None of us can do it alone. Together, we have a chance. We can avenge the wrongs caused by all these villains.
We can be Avengers.
Our world's about to break.